Sith and Jedi. Everybody kicking it in Mos Eisley. All my villainous scum and villainy kicking back. We're bringing you Star Wars The Dark Emperor, and I, as always, is the comic outlaw. And we're dropping part 4 of 6. And we're going to see where we're going from here. And as you can tell by the cover, we have one hell of a special guest. So stay tuned and stay real with my show. Now, as you can read from our little prelude, our boys have gotten Smuggler's Moon in Hutta, which is Hutt Central, if you don't know. Anybody ain't watched Return of the Jedi, Han and Leia may or may not have been involved in the death of a powerful gangster named Jabba the Hutt. And they're in the crosshairs of one of the most famous bounty hunters in the world, Boba Fett. Now as Boba stares them down, with Delgar, I think that's the way you pronounce it, another fellow bounty hunter ended up wrecking his face in a swoop race with Han Solo a long time ago, which he cheated on. So the blast race is on. And as you can see, from blast to blast, blast to blast, Han's trying to get away. Han is doing what Han does, what any good smuggler would do in this situation, and just run. They're trying to make their escape. They've managed to book passage through Han's ex-girlfriend and a fellow contact to get them into the inner part of the Empire to look for Luke. So they don't want to waste any time messing with Fett. That's a bag of cats for another day. So our boys are running, and I love how they decide that they're going to take out, by accident of course, another Hutt relative, which I do believe maybe his uncle, but is one of the many Hutts because they're very family oriented. They put a hit out on him. So another Hutt goes to his death. Dun dun. And I love the action sequence, the art. I love how things go back and forth. I love how it gives you the feel of Star Wars as they take off and rush off in that small little skiff. And this is that ship that I was telling you about. Of course, the Millennium Falcon magnetizes to the back, sticks right to it, and they take off. And Boba Fett, of course, follows right behind them, but oddly enough, not in Slave 1. But anyways, as the ship is going, Leia's explaining that Luke has been helping the Empire through the dark side, using his Jedi vision to see past for them, to boost confidence. Because it was determined that in other books that having the dark side really worked out for the Empire, and without it they were sort of wounded. And of course, these world devastators are actually destroying whole star destroyers, which is just freaking awesome to see. And as Lando and the Resistance try to hold it together, the New Republic, not the Rebels, seem like they're at the darkest hour. But the battle keeps going back and forth and keeps going back and forth. The New Republic refuses to give up. Which I do find interesting. It really brings out the idea of who the New Republic's trying to be and who they're trying to establish, and those old ideas and values they had for the Republic. But anyways, as the battle goes, something weird happens. Someone notices that someone hit the override system. Who can that be? And the ship comes crashing down. And for a moment they wonder, was that supposed to happen? Or was that just a sheer act of stupidity? Maybe it was luck. Who knows at this point? Anything can happen. But they're grateful for the reprieve. And as the ship comes closer, everyone's gathering their wits about them as they're about to enter the planet, and Fett's following closely behind, and he seems to get into an argument. And usually Fett's more crafty than this, but he ends up hitting the shield, which was a womp womp moment, if there ever was a womp womp moment in this comic book series. But anyways, him and Fett, or Dagar and Fett, end up veering off, flying off in the distance, trying to regain what's left of their ship. And as they move closer to the smuggling ring, Leia's becoming more and more apprehensive. She's starting to feel that darkness. She's starting to feel her brother's essence and how it's changed, how his place in the Force has changed. And as they come to the Citadel, really reminiscent of the Dungeon of Dungeon of Doom from DC Comics, which just looks freaking awesome. They end up flying towards it, and of course, they are expecting them. They land. And you can see everyone just, this fear built up in them, and hoping that this is just going to be another run. That this is going to just be one thing they whoop like the Death Star, or their other victories. But no. As she walks, she feels that presence. As the Millennium Falcon takes off, she feels the dark side, but it's not the Emperor. It's Luke. And I love how Luke's powers, it gives him that teleportation, that mysticism. And at their end, this is where C-3PO reveals that R2 is hooked up to a machine. He's getting all the information from R2. And of course, Leia's having a conversation with Luke, trying to wonder what's going on, where his place is. C-3PO at this point reveals that he's been erasing R2's primary programming, basically making him break bad. They try to take their weapons. Han, of course, tries to pull the quick draw. Luke does a force push. But they realize that he doesn't have his hand. He says they're making him a better one as the Emperor appears. Well, Leia pulls out that lightsaber that was given to her and slashes the guard with one strike, feeling the Force flow through her. And the Emperor, with just one wave of his hand, dispenses the weapon and says that lightsaber is too old for someone as you. And I love how the Emperor just takes control of the situation, letting her know that she is the last Jedi because her brother has fallen to the dark side. And as he reveals his plan, he postures, saying he's going to take over the universe, Leia feels a rush of the dark side flow through her and breaks a part of the machine that's suspended on top of Palpatine's cloning facility, and boom. But he ends up disintegrating it before he hits his head with the essence of the dark side, and then hits Leia with a Force lightning. And Luke asked if she killed her, and he said no, simply punishing her. But he's proud. He's proud that she took her first step to the dark side. She just needs to be disciplined and brought to it. Just like the brother fell, the sister shall fall as well. And Luke grabs Han, and everything seems to be falling into the darkness. He takes him prisoner. But what will happen next? We'll find out the next time. I'm the Comic Outlaw, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.